Today, I'm going to show you 4 drum patterns that are essential for any producer to know. These drum patterns are among the most used drum patterns in today's electronic, pop, and even hip-hop songs. So, I didn't want to just make a video where I show you 4 fundamental drum beats that are honestly kind of basic. I'm also going to show you how to take these beats in your own unique direction so you can sound unique and avoid sounding just like everyone else. The first beat is the 2 and 4. This is going to be the most common beat that you're going to hear in most hip-hop, pop, and EDM genres like future bass, trap, and lo-fi. This drum pattern is one of the most versatile drum patterns, so you can virtually run it at any speed that you would like. So I'm going to set us at a speed of 140 beats per minute. The next step is to make sure you have the right drums at the ready. I have a kick, a snare, a closed hi-hat, and an open hi-hat. These are your essential drums that you're always going to use in this pattern. Once we have our kit loaded up, we can make a 4-bar loop, and we can start writing this drum beat. So I'm going to grab my snare, and I'm going to put it on the 2nd and the 4th beat of every bar. So this is 1 bar of time, and there are 4 beats within this bar, and they're represented by these thicker lines here. So I'm going to grab a snare and put it on the 2, and put one on the 4, and I'm going to repeat that for every bar. And I'm going to put a kick on the first downbeat of every bar. So then we'll get a skeleton of a drum loop that sounds like this. And once you have this, it's now time to start getting creative and throwing some kicks down in places that it sounds good. There's no exact way to do this part, so just play around until you come up with something that you like. Ooh, this is cool. The next drum we're going to write is the closed hi-hat. The most common, easiest way to write a closed hi-hat is just to write it in a pattern that repeats like this. And it'll always work. Right now, these hi-hats are running at a speed of 16th notes, meaning there are 16 triggers in the span of 1 bar. Another common speed to run these is 8th notes. So we're going to have 8 notes, or 8 triggers, in the span of 1 bar. And hi-hats are cool because you can make them do some pretty characteristic stuff. I'm just going to pull the velocity down. So now that our essential drums are written, we want to use every other drum, like the open hi-hat, as an accent to our main beat. And once you have your drum line written, you can add more percussion to accent the beat and make it more unique. But one of my favorite things to do is just to grab a loop. And this might take some searching around, and my loop sounds like this. And layer it behind your beat, because it adds some randomness and just makes the beat sound unique and cool. But it doesn't have to end here. Once your drum pattern is laid out, spend time finding the right sounds, because just changing a single sound can change the entire character of your drum pattern. Yeah, that's the 2 and 4 beat. Real quick, guys, I just added a huge update to the EDM bootcamp program called Music Theory for Producers, and was designed to give you the skills that you need to avoid ever struggling on the melodic side of music production ever again. Get this update along with the rest of the EDM bootcamp offer linked at the top of the description below. Next beat on this list is the reggaeton beat. This Caribbean style beat has blown up in the past few years, used in some of the highest streamed songs that I've ever seen. The reggaeton beat sounds best in between 88 and 110 beats per minute. You could go faster or slower than that, it's entirely up to you. This beat is based on the time signature of 4/4. So I'm going to have a loop that is 4 bars long, and for this beat there are 2 essential drums, a kick and a snare. For the kick, I like to use a nice deep kick, and the sound of your snare is really important in reggaeton because it's a very dominating force in the beat. I like to use heavy snares with a lot of tone in them. You can hear it has a hum. So the way we do the kick for this beat is just a 4 on the floor beat, which means we're going to have 4 kicks per bar with a kick on every beat. Our kick line sounds like this. Pretty simple. Next, we're going to add the snare. And for this beat, we're going to have a snare that hits on the 3rd 16th note and the 6th 16th note. So it sounds like this. And then we're just going to repeat that same pattern moving forward. Now this beat is done, but what makes reggaeton beats so cool is how many different ways that you can accent this beat to make it unique and sound like your own. One of my favorite things to do is take like a weird percussive sound like this and accent either every kick or every couple of kicks. That's so much fun. Another option is to take either a hi-hat, shaker, or a tambourine that hits on 16th notes like that and just layer it on top of your beat. And then, of course, at the end of every 4 bars, we can resolve that snare loop. I'm also going to add this little vinyl loop just to make it sound more like me, like make it come to life. And then when you're finished dressing up your beat, add a mean vocal lead and pretend like you're DJ Snake. I love life. I just love my life. This is so much fun. This final beat is the 4 on the floor beat. This beat is most used in electronic genres like house music and subgenres of house music, but it also finds its way into a lot of hip hop and pop as well. We're back into Logic. This beat likes to sit in between 100 and 138 beats per minute, but I'm going to set us at 123 beats per minute. And our essential drums are going to be a kick, a closed hi-hat, an open hi-hat, and a clap. And again, we're in a time signature of 4/4, so my loop is going to be a multiple of 4. In this case, we're just going to be running at a loop of 2 bars. And the 4 on the floor beat is easy. Similar to the reggaeton beat, we're going to have 1 kick on every beat. So that's 4 kicks per bar. And then we get this. Then we could grab our open hi-hat, which you could place anywhere, but most commonly, the open hi-hat is going to be used in between each kick. And then the clap generally goes on every other kick. Again, this is how this beat is generally made, but you could do whatever you want. People do like innovation. And then the hardest part of this beat, at least for me, is going to be the closed hi-hat. You could use a closed hi-hat here or a shaker. The closed hi-hats generally run at 16th notes like this. But they, like I said, are kind of tough to get right because it just sounds digital. And nothing is special about that hi-hat. So what I try to do is add movement. And one way I do that is I'll usually add an LFO tool to make it duck with the kick. And once it's ducking, a lot of artists like to add a little bit of humanization by varying the velocities of each individual hi-hat. So you can see now I have 4 hi-hats. I'm just going to duplicate these. Now you can see the velocity here varies all throughout the loop. And then we'll get this sound. You can see there's more bounce to that little hi-hat. Now that's your run-of-the-mill house beat. But do not ever stop here. Once you get your beat lined up, like I said earlier, spend the time making your beat sound unique, especially a beat like this. It's one of the most popular beats in the world. So just changing something as simple as the kick changes the whole character of the beat. I also like taking perc loops, like percussion loops like this, and I could just spend hours finding the loop that makes this pattern come to life. Ready? Here's another one. That wraps up this drum pattern video. Stay tuned for the next video.